Welcome back, dear ones, to the energies of March 2024. And as you can see, we will be talking about the future. And we will be talking about how the future begins now, today. This was the main topic that came up for me when I tuned into March. And I'm going to explain to you why that is, and you're going to see in a minute why this is actually crucial. So many people on the planet think they have practically no influence on the future of the planet or humanity or what's happening, right? They see themselves as a kind of a tiny little dot, and they're here, and then there is the future here, and somehow it's been created, but they feel like they have no control over it or no impact. And what many, many people know is fear of the future. Because the future they hear about that others are trying to create, and you hear that through the media, through the internet, through what's going on in the world, this is what they take in, and then they assume, they project this future that someone else presents to them as the future that they're expecting. And what we know is, and this is so important now to know in the expansion of consciousness, we know that everything, even the material world, everything is frequency, is vibration, is energy. So if we know this, we also know this about our thoughts. A thought that is fearful or sad, like has a low emotional state attached to it, is actually of a low frequency. And higher thoughts, as in joy, not only thoughts but emotional states, joy or ecstasy or happiness or love, we also say these are high vibe emotions. The frequency, the vibration is higher, right? And so now we know this of our thoughts, of our emotions, right? We know this of everything. Everything has a frequency. Like material things, the hard things that we can kind of feel, they are very, very slow in their vibration. Whereas something like ecstasy has a very, very, very high vibration. So if everything is vibration, everything, including our experiences, must be of vibration then. And we also know, most of you know who watch videos like this, that you're sending out signals, you're sending out vibrations all the time. And these actually create what you're going to experience, right? And so this is why it is so important to actually make sure that for the most part, you focus on how your emotional state, how you feel, and that you feel good, because good feelings, high vibes, will create experiences of a high vibration. So the future begins now. This is the topic for this month, and this is because we're here in the now. Okay, let's say this is us. I hope you can see this, and this is the now. And let's say the vibe you have, or anyone has, someone has, is like this, okay? So this is kind of the basis vibration you have right now. This means you might be in a vibrational state maybe of some anxiety, some fear. You go through the motions of daily living, not very exciting, not very high vibe, okay? Then you take a lot of negative input in from the outside world, and you hear about this future. You hear about that. So this is kind of us here in the now. This is the future. Okay? So that's what you hear about. And you, in your mind, deal with the future that is of the same vibe that you're at, which is negative, which is full of fear, full of disempowerment. Okay? Now, what you probably know, but many people still don't know, and this is why this video for this month is kind of a teaching video, is our vibration in the now, we create the future. Like even very, very great clairvoyants who were able to see the future and predict the future, like Nostradamus or Edgar Cayce, or they saw certain visions for the future. Now, some of them came true, some of them didn't. But what they saw was the most likely future potential, because we know the future is not written in stone. It's being created as we go along. So there are actually infinite potentials of the future. Let's say you say, okay, in 6 months' time, the future in 6 months' time, or the future in a year's time, it doesn't matter. So there are infinite future possibilities. Now, what does it depend on? And this is where many get discouraged. Many think that the collective, like that what most people's frequency is in, that this is the future we create. So this is, if it's the negative future and the negative vibe, that's what we're going to experience, all of us, and there's no escaping it. Now, I want to say, and I think this will be empowering and very important for a lot of you to hear. You're here in this vibration, okay, creating this future because you allow yourself to be influenced again and again, every day, every week, by the information and the input that has that frequency. And so you are probably going to experience this type of future that you probably hear say, I don't want to, I'm afraid of it, I want to experience something different. But you're actually co-creating it with your yes to it every day, your vibrational yes to it again and again and again. So taking back responsibility is saying, right, I'm here, but I choose in the now the future I want tomorrow or in a year's time. And in the now, what I can do to choose my future is I need to come into higher vibration. I need to raise my frequency. What does that mean? I need to be in more joy, in more power, in more happiness, in more love, in more peace. That's high vibe. That's high vibe. In more connection with my true self, with my essence. And this will create then what you are going to experience. A high vibrational future. So your point in time in a year will be, has to be, it's universal law, has to be different than those here. So it's not that we don't have a choice. Now, going back to the point, because I can hear some of you saying now, yeah, but what about the collective? What if most people believe what they're being told about the negative future and are in this? So this is kind of the dominant timeline for planet Earth, for humanity. But what I want for planet Earth and humanity, not just for me, but for all of us, is this timeline. What impact does this have? Well, if you choose not to do this, not to actively choose the timeline and the future and the life you want to have or live, then there is no chance of you having any influence. The thing is, you hear right now that most people are here. And then you allow yourself to be discouraged and disempowered by the information that, hey, you know, kind of the motorway is already set. We're all on the motorway. You can have your little path through the woods with some kind of others, like here and there might be another person, but really us on the motorway, like the negative ones, we are paving the future that you are going to experience, by the way. Well, that's what you might hear, but that's not the truth. There's so many who are actually high vibe, who actually have started to take responsibility for creating the future for humanity, for assisting, literally assisting humanity to experience a high vibe future, to help their brothers and sisters. But we cannot do it if we despair. We cannot do it if we surrender to negativity and say there's nothing I can do. because the future is being created today, now. So what can we do? We can make sure that in the now, we live what is important to us, and we create more of it. In the now, today, make sure you're happy today. Make sure you're fulfilled today. And if you say there's not a lot of fulfillment right now in my life, not a lot of love, maybe not a lot of peace, there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of negativity that I don't want to experience, then by looking at what things are there that you don't want, you're only reaffirming them in your life. So how to do it practically is take the focus off what you do not want and move with your heart and your focus and your whole being into what you do want, what you want to experience today. I make a decision for inner peace today. And whatever experience comes towards me, my first response is, I will not allow this, let's say if it's something negative, to disturb my inner peace. And I will deal with it with inner peace. I will still deal with it. It's not like I'm going to run away from it. But I'll deal with it with inner peace, because that is the state that will create more future situations that will bring me peace or joy or love or harmony or freedom or abundance. But it starts with us taking responsibility for our lives now, for our thoughts now, for our emotions now, for what we're sending out and giving, how we relate to others and the world. If we do it in judgment, we receive judgment. We sow judgment. We encourage and enforce and multiply judgment. So let's not judge this. Let's say everyone can create what they want, but you want to be the contributor to this future scenario. And we cannot create it by complaining about this one. We're joining this one then. And that's what many people are ready to hear right now. This is how it works. It's not like the politicians will decide my future experience. No, because in your future experience, there will be different politicians. That's how it works. That's the quantum reality we're in. These linear ways of 3D thinking, they're old ways. We have gone past them. It's not like that we're actually transcending them now. We have moved on from that. And those who are still saying, this is all nonsense, it's like there's only one future and it's only one way, and whoever is kind of pulling the strings now, they will dictate the future. They haven't understood how things really work, because everything is quantum. And yes, it is hard to understand for our brains and our minds, the whole quantum field, like the theories, quantum structures, different parallel realities, possibilities. But this is how things work, and you don't have to believe it. You can actually try it for yourself. And if you dedicate your time and your energy to trying this and implementing it, you will see that your reality will have completely shifted in 2 years' time. And it may have completely shifted from people you know or you knew in the past. Their reality might be a completely different one. Feel free to try it. Feel free to experiment with it. You don't have to believe anything. In fact, question everything always. But if you feel like, this, a lot of you know this, but if you're new to this and you're ready to hear it, feel into it and see if it resonates. No resistance. And then try to implement it. And this is encouraging because it gives the power back to you, because the power is yours. And with yours, it means, yes, every single being on this planet, every single person, every single human. We all have the power. We all have it. And so many are already creating positively, intentionally and consciously. Let's join those and make this bigger. It might not be this noisy or loud or in our faces, but this number here is growing day by day, which means the light is expanding day by day, the light of consciousness, the light of a high vibe future, if you want to put it this way. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful, if you want to do that. I'm going to bless you for today. I'm going to love you and leave you. And we're going to talk again next time, if you want to.